It seems that reports of my survival have been greatly exaggerated.
This isn't possible.
Oh, I assure you, it is. How? Not how. Why? You were never meant to come here.
We have our orders. Leave the city, radio command from outside the storm wall. They send in the cavalry, we go home.
Hello there, Sarah from 17 once again. This is my Spec Ops The Line FUBAR Difficulty video walkthrough. This is Chapter 3, Underneath. So, this is another section that I thought was going to probably be quite challenging on FUBAR, and it turned out you can just sit and let your team do all the work. There might be a couple of you that are playing the game that don't want to do that because you find it too boring, and feel free to, make the levels more difficult than they need to be, but I would recommend, playing Possum as much as you can in this game, because it just makes it so much, This game can probably be really stressful if you try and force certain checkpoints, and the reason I probably enjoyed it where a lot of people didn't, and a lot of people went and complained on forums and made everybody hype the difficulty up and get super afraid of it, is because I'm a very patient person, and I've been playing, the harder difficulties on games for quite a long time now, and I've played a lot of different third-person shooters, so I do think you learn to have patience, because if you don't, you just die. And especially on a sequence like this where you've got a lot of people shooting at you, and you're in a spot where, what I should actually say, if you sit behind this piece of cover I'm on right now, you're okay. If you sit behind the tapestry to the left of this, it will actually get shot through, and it's not 100% cover. So make sure you put your back against this concrete part, or you might put yourself in some trouble. Another interesting mechanic you're going to learn about on this difficulty is how bullshit the grenades are. So there's a grenade just as I say it. You see it? If the grenade indicator is white, you should take no damage from it. If it's red, you're going to take damage, but the damage you take seems to be kind of random. There have been times when I've been miles away from a grenade and I've died. There's been times when I've been close to a grenade and I've lived. I have no idea why it's like this, guys. I don't know how they measure the radius, but all I'm saying is try your best to get as far away from the grenade as you can, but you don't have to literally put yourself out in the middle of the open to avoid them, because sometimes you'll just survive. And I play it quite cocky, but at the same time I have a lot of respect for grenades, because they force you out of cover and the enemies murder you when you're out of cover. So I would rather die in cover, knowing that I did everything I could to avoid the grenade, than run out into cover and just get shot like a dog. Because you stand a chance against the grenade, you don't stand a chance against a bunch of soldiers staring at you in the middle of nowhere. But there you go anyhow. Barely shot at all, the team did all the work, nice safe little spot. You want to go around pillaging, picking up all the ammo you can get. I do not recommend SMGs, I do not recommend pistols or shotguns. Everything else is pure preference. But now that that's happened, we can push forward. Just good pacing at the start of this game. Everything felt important, everything felt like we were going somewhere with a reason, and the story was developing and you were curious as to why certain things were happening. And then you played the rest of the game and every question you had pretty much didn't get answered, and they kind of did a fucking Sixth Sense at the end where it's like, surprise, here's a twist that you never saw coming because we didn't give you enough of exposition to figure it out yourself. And then I was a little bit more disappointed with the game. And anybody who has played the game, certain moments, it's just, why? Just why? Like the deja vu moment for people, where the main character actively says, I felt like we've done this before, because we've done this before, and then it never explains it, it just wants you to believe that it's another side effect of your character's essential breakdown throughout the game, which I suppose makes, some kind of sense, but in a narrative and interesting way, it just feels like a cop-out and bullshitty. Because I was hoping for Jacob's Ladder, me guys, and if you've never seen Jacob's Ladder, you want to check it out, because it's one of those twists where you kind of go, what the fuck? And it stays with you. And instead, this game kind of did the thing that everybody knew was coming, but you didn't want to say it because there'd been absolutely no real reason for that to be the case. Because I knew exactly what was going to happen at the end when you got there. I knew it immediately. The problem was, I didn't know why I knew it. And that's the thing that bugs me the most. The fact that they don't give enough subtle hints and subtle clues that tell you why the ending is what the ending is. And then when they do their little Saw moment, their little vignette of, this is how it all came together, here's a couple of flashbacks and a couple of bits that now will make more sense. They added things that weren't there when you saw them, and that pisses me off, that really pisses me off. That's like the Bourne Legacy, I don't know if you've seen it. Oh, by the way, this section here, it wants you to use the turret. Be careful getting on the turret, because it will take you a while to get behind it. That's the reason why I didn't immediately get on it, because you die so fast on FUBAR, you really do. You need to be super careful, folks. And just watch what I'm doing, learn from my mistakes. You know, if you ever see me in a bad spot, learn why I was in that bad spot, and just do not follow that path, and just, you know, you shouldn't have too much trouble. You really shouldn't. Now this section here, there's going to be a lot of enemies coming, but they take the time to make it round to the turret, so you can go over to my right and shoot them with your normal gun. Just bear in mind, it's a little bit more dangerous, and you are wasting precious ammunition. But the Bourne Legacy. The Bourne Legacy did something that really fucks me off in films. It made out like it was happening at the exact same time as the other one, but it did it in really contrived ways. They were in an airport and something was on TV about Jason Bourne. There was a phone call about a character that we didn't see in the other film because they weren't on camera at the time making this phone call. And it just linked it all together in this extremely contrived and unimaginative way, and that super pisses me off. And this game did that. It was like, oh, he was talking to the Colonel on the radio, but there was a subtle detail about the radio that we never showed you till the fucking end. And I disagree with that completely. Because to me, as a storyteller, because, you know, before I was a YouTube commentator, before I did any of this stuff, I was a writer. I've wrote stories since I was a kid. Same when you draw something, and I love drawing. I've always been a drawer since I was a little kid. You're making a story, you're making a narrative, you're making something that has to make sense. A sequence of events that when you get to the end make perfect sense because of the series of you know, situations that led to it. You know, history dictating the future type deal. And that is the sign of a good story. A good story, and a good twist in particular, because we're talking about twists here, guys, because that's what's coming, and if you think this is a spoiler, you really need to pay more attention, because it's obviously there's going to be a twist. It's, you know, the reference in a Conrad Werner novel, I believe his name is, the guy who did The Heart of Darkness, of which, you know, Apocalypse Now was based off of loosely. A twist is something that you had every single opportunity, if you were paying enough attention, there you go. If you were paying enough attention and you were watching the details closely enough and working it out, it's subtle but it's there, and you somehow managed to spot it and you guessed the twist. That is what a twist is. A good twist is all of those elements combined, but it still gets you. You notice this, you notice that, you didn't quite put it together, and then boom, it blows you away. That is a good twist. A bad twist is where they don't give you those subtle hints, they don't put it in the hands of the viewer to figure out, and then they just expect you to accept it at the end. Like, oh, it was all a dream, oh, you know, blah blah blah, he woke up, alarm clock, he woke up. That is not a good twist, that is a fucking cop-out, and I hate it. From a narrative perspective, from a writer perspective, from every kind of storytelling, imagining, I hate that kind of bullshit, because it's a deus ex machina, which is essentially a god machine explaining something that you can't explain. It's literally, and then aliens came and everyone died. That is what it is, and it sucks. It's bad storytelling. It really is, and I don't know why they've made it that way at all. Because what it reminded me of is, it reminded me of Switchblade Romance. And if anybody's seen that film, I don't know why I said that so strange, stroking, you'll understand what I mean. It's got the most preposterous and stupid fucking twist in the entire, like, universe of twists. Because if you think about it, when you watch it back, there's a sequence in that film where she's chasing herself as two different people, and one of them is in a car. Bullshit. Hate that film. But thank you for watching. Good director. You take care now.